Hey everyone, how are you? I am back from a wedding celebration in upstate New York. Wanted to pick up where I had left off before, and I was really talking about my first major surgery down at Memorial Sloan Kettering in 2005, the radical cystectomy, removal of the bladder, prostate, and section of the ureter, and reconstruction with intestinal tissue. And I had mentioned before just feeling God's presence in that place and still feeling it 21 years later, but especially a tangible presence down at Memorial Sloan. And so I just want to camp onto that with regard to God's presence in my journey. I would say that the horrific cancer journey, at least for me, for 21 years, especially being told to go home and prepare for an end of life process, but just the many surgeries, the many recoveries. I'm usually in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a month after these major surgeries, and so many other hospital stays in between. Just last year, 20 years into this, hospitalized for 2 weeks with sepsis. So just tons of hospitalization, tons of. I've said it before. I think I went 7 years with a hospital visit every week for 7 years, including holiday weeks, and it would have been either a procedure, surgery, test, treatment, whatever was going on, but just constant. And when I was down at Memorial Sloan Kettering for my first surgery, I heard God's voice in my spirit, and the voice was, I want you to be transparent about this journey. And I thought to myself back then, as I was in my gown and, and trying to walk, and that, what does that mean? And I'm not sure I want to be transparent about this journey. In fact, at that point, I was like, I don't even know what that means. And the interesting thing is, nothing really happened publicly until 10 years later when I was asked to speak at a prayer breakfast event in my area in which 600 people were there, that sort of thing. But transparent meaning, can I step into my journey and feel the feelings, and especially the tough emotions, fear, anger, and sadness, and can I bring people into those moments and into that journey to also partner with them and also give them permission to feel fear, anger, and sadness. Many times, as a Christ follower, I've been advised and felt like I didn't have permission to feel those tough feelings, that it was a sin, or it wasn't scriptural to feel fear and to feel anger and to feel sadness. And yet I felt those emotions in me, and I've had this journey of suppressing emotions like that. And Emotionally Healthy Spirituality program that I love talks about those emotions get buried alive, but they don't get expressed. And so they come out in other ways. And so I began a journey 10 years after my first surgery when I faced a life threatening situation where those emotions had to be expressed. They had to be written down. They had to be experienced. And in fact, all through Scripture, you have people like Jeremiah and Job saying, I wish I hadn't been born, and David saying, I'm in over my head, I'm drowning here. Even Jesus saying, my God, why have you forsaken me? But also agonizing in the garden. And these emotions being expressed is all over Scripture. And I believe God, who authored my life and created me with emotions, wants to hear me express those emotions, and to process them with him. And for me, it's intentionally asking myself, how am I feeling? I use a heart check, which is something out of recovery, which is, am I hurting, exhausted, angry, resentful, or tense? But that transparency, not only with others, myself, but also God. Do I have permission to be completely vulnerable with God and completely honest? And I think my journey has taught me that, yes, that God welcomes that. That God, at those times when I really struggled with those tough emotions, I felt an embrace. I didn't feel being ostracized or being rejected because I was having doubts, expressing tough emotions, and being human. So anyway, just that wanted to express that message. I hope you're well today, and I'll pick it up again soon. Thank you.